Hi, welcome to my Artifact 11, Managing the Use of Technology for Learning in a Non-Traditional Classroom Setting. This is standard 6.2, criteria 20. So we're going to manage the use of technology and student learning strategies in a digital platform, virtual environment, hands-on market space, or in the field. For this artifact, I created a creative computer project for my 8th grade Georgia Study students using the IST standards. My students were tasked with creating a digital story based upon our standards. Our standard for this is going to be Unit 12. We titled this digital storytelling 21st Century of Georgia, which is centered around individuals Maynard Jackson, Andrew Young, Jimmy Carter, and the 1996 Olympics. So Unit 12, using the Georgia 8th grade Georgia Study Standards. So we're going to explain the importance of developments in Georgia since the late 20th century. So we're explaining how the continued development of Atlanta under mayors Maynard Jackson, Andrew Young impacted the state. We also describe the role of Jimmy Carter in Georgia, and we also evaluate the short and the long-term impacts of hosting the 1996 Olympics. There were technology usage rules with this project. Students were only allowed to visit approved internet websites. It was very important that I iterated to students to not try to visit other websites. There were strict punishments for students trying to visit other websites. So I also instructed students to not give out their personal information or other people's personal information just because we're using a different website that was not previously approved by the district. So I had to go out and get that approved. So I also instructed students not to download anything without the teacher's permission, just because I know some students wanted to upload certain things and get certain things off of the internet. I made sure that students understood that anything uploaded or downloaded needed to be approved with my permission, and also instruct the students to not change any of the save settings, such as the time or the date, because the district has certain things blocked. Students can sometimes change certain things to get around what was already blocked. So managing the class, I decided to take an I do, we do, you do approach, which basically mean that I showed students how to use a digital story. I just created one that was really quick and simple. I played it for them just so students understand how it worked. Then we did a we do. Students and myself, we worked together and we created one kind of for each class. Each class personalized, so we included people from the class, just stuff that people say. And then the students that went in, they completed one individually. Students also went by the task of asking your partner first and then asking your teacher, just so they can see, if their partner knew something that they didn't know to help them. If neither one of them knew, then thing was to ask me. I also did teacher monitoring. I was constantly walking around just to make sure all students were working and all students were on task. If also there was a video that I recorded from the I Do, and I posted it in Google Classroom just in case students needed simple help, and they can just refer back to that video. So Artifact 11, creating opportunities for students to use the design process and or computational thinking, standard 6.3, criterion 21. So we create learning opportunities that challenge students to use the design process and computational thinking to innovate and solve problems. So for this, I created a creative computing project for my 8th grade Georgia Study students. They were tasked with creating a digital story of the 21st century in Georgia. So with this, students had to explain individuals Maynard Jackson, Andrew Young, Jimmy Carter, and also event the 1996 Olympics. So with the computational thinking, students were tasked with using three topics: so decomposition, recognize patterns, and algorithms. So through the use of graphic organizers, students must determine what was the most important thing to write since they can't write everything. Through recognized patterns, students had to use a comparison and contrast bubbles. In these bubbles, students were comparing individuals by measuring their similarities, but also their differences. And then with algorithms, students used Scratch, and students had to apply different coding to their digital stories. Students also be able to change their background and apply different characters. So the design process I used was the ask/define, understand, plan, create, and improve. So for ask and define, students will first review the standards and learning target for this unit. So before we begin, students had to write at least 5 questions they want to know. At the end of the unit, students will answer the questions. Students will also be able to ask other classmates questions about their digital story, and the classmates will be able to answer. So, for understand, students must first learn the necessary information to complete the digital story. Students will also be able to understand the material after the lesson. So, as a class, students will create their own digital story so they can understand how to operate the program. Students understand that it's expected from them by viewing the rubric. For plan, students will, before students begin, they will outline with each section of the digital story will cover what character is being displayed. The students will also express what each digital character is saying. The outline must be turned in as well as the digital story. For create after completion of the outline, students will then begin the creation of their digital story. Students will create this individually, but they can also receive assistance from their buddy partner. Students can share ideas and view the outlines of their buddy partner. And for improve, students will share their finished digital story with their buddy partner. Their partner will review and give feedback on ways their partner can improve their digital story. The partners will give feedback based upon the rubric. After receiving the feedback, students will be given additional time to improve their digital story. It's Artifact 11, Model and Nurture Creativity, Standard 6.4, Criterion 22. So, model and nurture creativity and creative expressions to communicate ideas, knowledge, or connections. So, for this project, I created a creative computer project for my 8th grade Georgia Studies student. We created a digital story. Students had to create a digital story based upon 21st century Georgia using individuals Maynard Jackson, Andrew Young, Jimmy Carter, and the event 1996 Olympics. So for modeling creativity, I decided to show the students a digital story that I created. And I just kind of went through it just to show students how to build one, other things that you can use, the different backgrounds you can use, the different characters, but also just kind of the words and how you can have different people talking in different settings. So for the class tutorial, again, I did the I do, we do, you do. So I designed a digital story for each class, and I also presented it to the class. Students were very impressed. They thought it was a difficult task at first, but as we did the I do and we do, students realized that it wasn't a difficult task and it was something that could be accomplished. During the we do, during the same class session, we created a digital story together. We added some personal class features and saying stuff that people say in the class. And then the you do, the students were allowed to explore the website and create their own digital story. So modeling creativity, as the students went through and completed the, you do on their own, I was kind of just modeling and walking around and making sure each student was working diligently. But if I noticed they needed help or they asked for help, I wanted to just let them know that I was there and I only just provided suggestions for the students.